Yo, this is your boy Bronze, and this is the Niners All Day Show.
Yes, sir.
Got my boy Dre with me. What's up, Dre?
What's popping? What's going on, my guy?
Chilling, man. You just got back from the lake?
Yeah, man, we're at Louisville National Park. It's a good place for families to go, cool down. It's 100 degrees out here today, so just wanted to get out there, get to the water for a little bit.
Good. Yeah, I'm on my brother-in-law's house. Kind of started drinking already. Got the buzz going. So if I'm slurring,
bro, USC 252 is tonight, bro. It's a good day today. We
yeah.
Training camp USC 52.
Yes, we're gonna be watching that, man. What about NBA playoffs? That's going on today?
No, the playoffs don't start until Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's talking about the Portland Blazers, but of course they're going to lose in the first round. You already know what it is.
Yeah. But hey, yeah, man. Hey, so what's up? Just want to say what's up to all the people that's coming in. We got 53 people that just coming in right now. But shout out to our Patreon members. Yep. If you guys want to go ahead and like and subscribe our YouTube channel, All Niners All Day. Yes, and you see there at the bottom our Gold and Goat members. Today we got a special guest. We got Grant, and we also got Jason back. We're gonna be talking to some football, of course. First day training camp. Let's go.
It's almost like Grant isn't a guest anymore, bro. Like he's all day contributor now, bro.
Exactly, man. For real, man. So that bro. Exactly. With that being said, we got Grant and we got Jason. What up, guys?
What's happening, bro?
What's up, Jason?
Great.
This is my first time meeting Jason. Jason, where you from?
I'm from Jersey, Grant too. So I became, I got really lucky to kind of, do well on Twitter with some of my film breakdowns, to be even like a part of stuff like this. Honestly, it's really cool to be over here on this side and be able to be in these sort of things with Bronze, with you, with Dre. So all this stuff is just, I just love talking football, man. So that's all I want to do.
I've definitely seen your stuff on Twitter before, so it's nice to meet you.
Oh, I appreciate that, Grant. Yeah, man. I mean, you're a big fixture for 49ers Twitter, and I've seen you as well too. And it's just the word that I would use is polarizing. That's it. I don't have
polarizing. Yes,
exactly. I'll take it.
I'll take it. I can't base an opinion because I've never met you. So I know you seem great.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man. Well, we'll get to know each other today.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, man. So there's a few caveats I want to get into before we get into the actual training camp stuff, right? Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith said that Travis Kelce is head and shoulders better than George Kittle, right? I had to restrain myself because I know what it's like to have a Twitter account and get it like totally deleted, right? I've been through like so many Twitter accounts. So like the good thing about Twitter is it teaches you how to formulate your words correctly so you don't get kicked out of Twitter, because they'll kick you out like it's no coming back. But I feel like because Travis Kelce was able to, win the Super Bowl last year, that he gets a little bit more credit than George Kittle is. Anybody who knows football knows that George Kittle is the best tight end in the NFL. I just want some input from you guys as to why do you think that Stephen A. Smith would say that?
Let me start it off real quick. I think it's because Travis has been in the league longer.
True.
And touchdown, whatever. But yeah, that's all I think I can think of.
Right.
Grant, I'll let you go if you want, Grant. Yeah.
Well, I can make the argument for Kelce. I think Kittle's better, but I can make the argument for Kelce. If you're saying Kelce's better, it's primarily has to do with what he does inside the 12-yard line, period. I mean, he's great, elite inside the 12. And for whatever reason, Kittle doesn't get used very much in that area of the field. Kendrick Bourne does. And what if you're like a national reporter and you look at the Niners and you don't really watch their film like we do, you'd be like, well, that's a limitation in Kittle's game. But the way I see it is, it's really more a limitation of Kyle Shanahan's offense. Like, that's something Shanahan should be looking at. Like, how can I get Kittle more involved in this area of the field? Because to me, if Kittle were on the Chiefs, he'd be getting 13, 14 touchdowns a season, or at least what Kelce's getting. So that's the way I see it.
Right. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, it's true. Again, when we did the film breakdown on Kendrick Bourne, remember we were everything was third down in the red zone, all that stuff, right? The issue is that just because someone's not asked to do something doesn't mean that they can't do it. So
exactly.
So like the misconception I think with Kelce is that I think that people think that he's a terrible blocker. He's not a terrible blocker. He's just not as good as George Kittle.
He's not terrible. He's horrible.
But he's not asked to do that as much. He's their number one receiver.
Right.
He's split out.
No, that's the thing. So there was an argument that somebody brought up. I forget where it was. I think I saw it on around the NFL. But somebody said that if you switch the people, you switch Kelce and you switch Kittle, Kittle would be fine in Kansas City, and Kelce would not over here. Right. I don't know if I agree with that, but I understand the argument.
Right. He would not be nearly as effective as a lead blocker in the outside zone running scheme. In fact, you probably want to run away from him. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Correct. Then the last thing I'll say about Stephen A. Smith, man, is, look, honestly, man, I enjoy what he does, man. He's an entertainment guy. But it's clear that he doesn't watch football. And I maintain that when you're on TV, it is very hard for you to know everything about all three sports. Basically, what I know is I know football, I know the Yankees, and I don't even know basketball, honestly. So I don't even try to give opinions on those sort of things. Again, he's up for ratings, so he's gonna say whatever, like that's not the. So when he tells you that Hunter Henry's been playing and Hunter Henry was out the entire year, like that should be your cue to not listen to Stephen A. Smith when it comes to football.
He's not really thinking through his arguments. He's just trying to say things that he thinks are intriguing.
Right.
So he knows everyone thinks Kittle's better. He's like, well, I can make an argument for Travis Kelce, and I'll think it through for a minute and a half. You can make a good argument for Kelce, but I think it always comes down to the work he does in the low red zone, a la Gronkowski. I mean, that's what you really want, that from your tight end, someone who just dominates and gets you the touchdown, like a running back. I mean, you can just throw it up to him. Kittle, they don't use Kittle that way, and I think he could be used that way.
Okay, so. Put it like this, Jason. You know how much we make doing this? You know how much money Stephen A. Smith makes a year?
Millions.
$9 million.
$9
for $9 million. You better know what you're talking about. You should know what you're talking about to make $9 million a year, bro.
Yeah,
$9 million, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of ridiculous. You put Kelce in that Vikings game last year in the divisional round and see what he does against Daniil Hunter and Everson Griffin. See if he could do that. He can't. He can't.
He can't as effectively, but I think that when people say that he can't block, I don't think that that's true. I think Kelce very much can block. He's nowhere near as good as Kittle. That's it.
Put it like this. With Kelce in that game and not Kittle, we lose. The running game is not as potent as it was without Kittle, period.
But, okay, well, here's the thing. Like, if I had to choose between a tight end who's a great blocker or a tight end who's a great red zone receiver, I'll take the red zone guy. So, I mean, like, what Kelce brings to the table is extremely valuable. And even though he's not a great blocker or even a particularly good one, what he does do well makes him an elite player. So, yes, Kittle's better, but I really feel like Kelce is one of the most valuable players in the league and gets overlooked a little bit because everyone thinks about Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, but really that passing game goes through Kelce.
Right. I look at the system with Andy Reid and I look at the weapons around him. George Kittle had 1,377 yards with no weapons around him. Who did he have around him? Do you remember the starters from that?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I would take Kittle too, but I really think that it's wrong to just be like, well, Kelce's a bum. He's overrated. He's a part of their system. Like, put him on the Patriots right now. I mean, you put him.
The other thing too, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Grant.
Go ahead, Jason.
The other thing too is just because like we said, just because someone's not asked to do something doesn't mean they can't do it. But Kelce stays out of the way of all of those hits because he's utilized out of the slot and he's used as more of a receiver. It's true for sure. And remember, Kittle's 25, Kelce's 30. Kelce's been doing this for a while, and for the foreseeable future, he's going to be able to put up these sort of numbers, being that he has this stable system, this amazing quarterback, and the guy's really good, man. Like honestly, if someone came to me and said that Kelce was better, I would say no. But it's not so far off as people believe. Like this idea that Kittle than Kelce, like Kelce, Kittle than Kelce, like it's not that far off.
And I think there's a mutual respect between them. They got to know each other before the game. I think Kittle would say that Kelce's a baller and vice versa. I think Kelce would say that Kittle's better than him too. Yeah. I think he would.
And I think like what we talked about yesterday, Trey, when the numbers came out and everything as well too, and then all of a sudden Kelce's deal is out. It wasn't that Kelce was even looking for money outside of what Kittle was getting. He just wanted to see what Kittle was getting. They literally walked right into the front office and was like, okay, if he's getting this, we'll take just a little bit under this because we understand.
Hey, Kelce, like, you see what Kittle got?
Right.
I want money.
I want this money too. -$1.
Right. But I think what Grant says is really true is that, I think Kelce would even tell you himself that he believes that George Kittle is a better player.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I think
All right, bro. I just thought that we should, touch on that a second.
Sure.
Now let's get into basically kind of the same team and compare it to what we're going to do in offseason, right? So just, I believe 8 weeks ago, the Chiefs were at negative $177, right? They restructured somebody. They got, I think, like $3 or $4 million from that restructure, right? They signed a $500 million contract. They signed an $85 million contract. Then they just signed a $54 million contract. Before they signed the $54 million contract, next year, the Chiefs were going to be negative $13 million in cap space, right? The cap. I'm starting to believe that cap doesn't exist. There's some type of way that they're able.
It exists. It exists, and this is going to take down the Chiefs. The Chiefs are kind of like making themselves into the Cowboys, where they have 5 great players, and if one of them gets hurt, you're screwed. I mean, they're going to be good this year, but eventually when Mahomes is making 40 a year or 45 and Chris Jones is making a ton, they're going to be a lot like the Seahawks, where they're going to win 9 games, at least 9 a year. That's their floor. Probably more like 10 or 11, but get bounced in the first couple of rounds. That's the way I see it. It's real, man.
Do you really think it's wise, like, for them to be basically banking on a salary cap increase based on, we don't know what's going to happen day to day in this crazy world right now, like, let alone years down the line, right? So basically all of these deals are lining up with them saying, you know what, yes, we expect this to increase and things like that. But what happens when you go along is that you wind up having to pay a lot of other people as well, too, like guys that you didn't see coming. Right? Like guys that maybe you might write off right now and say, you know what, in 2-3 years, they may not be on this team. But if they perform this season and they become vital to your success, now you have to really rethink your roster building. And that's when it's really going to start to come into play. Like they better just hope that the cap goes up. I would say the same thing you said, Trey. I was starting to think that the salary cap is a bit of a myth. But if these guys are all in on, and it seems like they are, inside the team and wanting to be part of this dynasty that they have going, that they would restructure, make moves and things. All right. Yeah, no, he's right. I saw the comment come up. He's right. He's right. So somebody just commented and said, are we talking 49ers or not? So, I mean.
No, hey, hold on. Hey, you can get blocked real quick. Not you, Jason, but whoever said that, like, you can get blocked real quick. Like, we're basically comparing situations that other teams are doing in the NFL. To the 49ers.
We just got he's just impatient.
Let us do what we do. Let us do what we do on our channel with our content that we create.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then we get there. But back to what you were saying, bro.
No, it's cool. I think
I'm sweating through my suit though, but keep going.
I think those guys would get down there and they would do restructuring, anything like that it took to make sure that the band stays together. I think that they realize that they've got something a little bit special and they've got to strike while the iron's hot. You guys know how quickly the window closes in the NFL. You guys know very fast how that happens. So, but yeah, that's all I had to say. I'm sorry. I just saw the comment pop up. It was really big.
Yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that up because I see through the 49er faithful that a lot of people are worried about the cap. It's one of the reoccurring situations. And I just kind of wanted to bring that up and point out another
Ask
franchise.
the Rams about the cap. It's real, Dre. Ask the Rams.
No, no. I'm not saying that, bro. I'm just saying that maybe we should just relax a little bit on the cap and look at how other franchises are going to be. The Saints are negative $74 million next year in cap space. Like, relax.
I'm not worried about the Saints. I mean, as a Niner fan, you should be worried about Arizona. That's the team you should be worried about. They got a quarterback who, to me, I saw Kyler Murray play in person last year. He's every bit as good or this close. Physically, he can do everything Patrick Mahomes can do. And now he's got DeAndre Hopkins. I don't know about his defense, but that's the team that you got to worry about because he's not making any money.
What about
good and he's cheap, and those teams are so dangerous. The quarterback.
What about the offensive line, Grant?
See, what I saw from Kyler Murray is that you can't get him. He drops back like 15 yards, and then he just spins away from everything. He's really good.
Hey, bro, I'm telling you like this. Kyler Murray is going to run into a brick wall sooner or later.
I don't know. See, but here's the thing, Drake.
Bro,
He's a young Russell Wilson, man.
Bronze, you got it.
Man,
this dude, the dude who changed the game, Michael Vick. He's not no Michael Vick, right? What eventually happened to Michael Vick? His body broke down. His body broke down. And he
was one of these baseball players that knows how to slide, dude. Jason, please tell him.
Dre,
Please tell him.
So look, Dre, I'm completely on side with these guys here. I hate to like help gang up, but look,
so good.
Kyler doesn't get hit. Like he knows when to get down, and he knows that. Now the issue is with this, and this is why we should be worried with Arizona, right? If any team has ever given the 49ers fits, it's not drop back passers. It's always guys that are mobile, right? Russell Wilson's going to give us fits for forever, okay? Kyler Murray gave us fits in 2 straight games. Now, and I want to point out one more thing. The game that we could not stop the Rams in the beginning of that game, Jared Goff was killing us with rollouts, rollout, because he cannot contain mobile quarterbacks. Even Lamar Jackson gave us fits. The issue is that if you're a drop back passer, that's exactly what the 49ers want. They want you to sit in that pocket and think that you're safe. You're not safe. But if you can move, that's the issue.
It is. It really is. And I'm telling you, to me, I think Kyler Murray's a better player than Lamar Jackson. His arm.
I get what he means, though. I get that his ceiling is higher.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying, Jason? He can do everything.
His ceiling is higher. I believe
exactly. Lamar was just the MVP, so Kyler has to get there, but his ceiling's higher. Yes,
I believe that. Because he's every bit the runner that Lamar is, with a more accurate deep ball and and the thing is everything that we know about Lamar Jackson is it's in between the numbers. Kyler can sling it everywhere, and I've seen him drop balls in.
Yeah, when he develops, he's gonna be dangerous.
You can tell that he played center field, and he was gonna be a major league center field. That dude played a lot of long toss. He can throw the ball 300 feet. I mean, easy.
Yep.
Right. Dre, we got a next topic.
Should we do some training camp, or what do you want to do?
Yeah,
go for it.
I don't want to rush though.
The chat wants to know about the training camp.
Yeah, let's go. Let's say the Chiefs. Let's go.
All right, so Grant, I'm gonna toss some names out there, and after I toss the names out there, you can go ahead and go into your spiel about what you've seen. The first name I'm gonna toss out there is Cohn Alexander.
Didn't see much, man. Hey, look, it's the first day of practice. They were 2 fields away. He was starting. He looked good. He didn't make any plays. You'll have to give me another day on Quan. He looked fine. Look, he looked like he's in great shape. I could say that. Like him and Fred Warner both look like they're bigger, stronger. They look great, but they didn't make any plays today that I saw.
And did you get a chance to listen to the press conferences after? So Kyle Shanahan came out and said that Quan's starting at will. That's it.
Okay.
Done.
Yep. Straight up.
No open competition.
No question.
Yeah.
So now the issue starts to come in with Quan, and we start to think about there's this world where we want Quan on the field with Warner, and we want him on the field with Greenlaw, right? But that's on base downs, right? So how much is all the 49ers going to be a nickel, and how much is that going to change, right? Because K'Wan Williams is not a starter, right? But he is a starter because he's always playing, he's always in those nickel situations where he's the corner, the slot corner.
Right.
So
the question is how much are they going to be in base, because they like Greenlaw a lot. And what Seattle did last year is stay in base even against 11 personnel because they're playing zone anyway, and they wanted to be strong against the run. And that's kind of what the Patriots did against the Rams in the Super Bowl. I mean, Greenlaw and Quan Alexander are extremely fast. And if you're only playing zone, you can get away playing base against 11. So that's what I'm wondering. But as you said, K1's so good, they got to play him too.
Right. Now, the other thing is, and here's the weird dichotomy between Greenlaw and Quan. What Quan struggles with, Greenlaw excels. With what Greenlaw struggles with, Quan excels. And which is coverage. It's back and forth. One can cover, one is a sure tackler. And that's the issue that you have with the both of these guys. Can Greenlaw develop? For sure. And you have to wonder that because it's only been 1 year. Quan kind of is who he is at this point. We know who he is. He's got too much of a track record of the same thing. So it really is going to boil down to what Grant said about whether they're going to be in base and how they want to run it. And I think that's a week to week thing. When whoever it is comes in.
All right. So let's move on to
you say Kinlaw?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Kinlaw was starting. He was playing 3 technique.
Wow.
He is really big. I was
young Thanos
2 fields away, and I was like, "Where's Javon Kinlaw?" Oh, he's the big guy in the middle of the line. Absolutely. Now, I didn't see him make any play. There was no pads, so I'm not going to be like, "Hey, look, this dude's great." I'm not going to make any statements about any of the linemen. I'll say something on Monday, but he was starting. He's super big, and it was impressive. He looked athletic.
Does he move? He moves pretty well to be that good, right?
Absolutely.
Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the defensive backfield. Let's say Ahkello Witherspoon.
Yes.
Ahkello Witherspoon was he was playing with the second team. It seems like he's not competing for the job.
Oh, shoot.
Witherspoon's with the teams. Him and Verrett. Verrett on the left.
Hey, somebody gonna be doing 50 push-ups on live because they bet Ahkello was gonna be.
Wait a minute.
Michael Andrews.
Wait, Grant, you said that Verrett was on the other side of Ahkello with the second team.
Yes.
So he was playing
Verrett on the left, Ahkello on the right.
Even having
that's a lot. This is solid.
So how did Verrett look?
He looked fine. He looked good. I didn't see him give up any. The people that I saw give up catches were short stuff underneath that I couldn't against zone and on the right side of the defense. Once Mosley, once Witherspoon. So if they are competing, I felt they both gave up. Mosley gave up a short slant to Ayuk, and Witherspoon gave up a deep comeback. So Witherspoon's the one who got beat.
I would rather give up the short slant than the deep ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So let's switch it over to the offensive side because obviously without pads, it's kind of hard to judge a guy not in pads on defense, right? And I totally get that. So let's switch to the offensive side. I want to know how well was Trent Williams moving today?
He looks really good. He looks really good. And when I watch him, it's like I always had respect for Joe Staley, but it underscores just how old he had gotten. Sorry, Joe.
Right.
It's like, wow,
age is age, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's a left tackle in his prime. Wow. Yeah. And he's the best. So he's healthy now. He looks terrific. It was fun to see how fluid of an athlete he is. Like Trent Brown was also great in pass protection. He was incredibly fluid for a 380-pound man. Trent Williams is trim. I mean, he looks like he could play tight end.
Let's go.
Disclaimer real quick. I heard it wasn't Trent Williams that was driving. It was his brother. So no. So that's what I was going to bring up. So after the press conferences, I watched all of them after they happened, and they immediately brought that up to Kyle. Like, so Trent Williams was driving 120, and he's like, look. He goes, I just heard about it before I walked in. He goes, I'll ask him. I heard it was his brother, but that seems like something they'll deal with internally. But yes, that's not something that I want to see my left tackle doing. Driving 120.
Hey, I could be wrong. But in California, I think that's a felony. I think that's reckless endangerment. Once you're over 100, I could be wrong.
Hey, so this is another thing, right?
Yeah,
he was foreign. He was in that Rari.
Oh,
he was in that Rari thing. See, that might not be miles. That might be kilometers, buddy.
Right, and you
right.
Seriously, he was in the forum, bro. Like it's different,
there you go, Dre. Good job, Dre. Good call on that.
That's good. That's a good breakdown right there. So when you you go a little faster.
Yeah. For real, I mean, I'm concerned. I don't want him getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? I don't want him hurting someone. Or I want him to be safe as hell. You know what I'm saying?
I think what Grant said is really important too, honestly, because I've said this to people, but I don't really say it on Twitter because like I'm scared of just like getting completely like, either taken out of context or just watched on. But my thing is as much as I love Joe Staley, his jersey just came in the mail for me today, the one that I just bought. I
saw that on Twitter.
Yes, but Trent Williams is absolutely an upgrade. Like I just like there's no shame in saying that Trent Williams is better than Joe Staley and loving Joe Staley. Like you can say both. Joe Staley's still a legend and Trent Williams is still better. Like you can say both of those things.
Like for example, last year when they didn't do one-on-ones today, which is too bad. It's my favorite part of training camp. Last year they did one-on-ones. Like Nick Bosa really wore out Joe Staley. And the way that media portrayed it was Nick Bosa is the next Michael Strahan because he's just whipping Joe Staley. The way I saw it was Staley didn't look this bad against Aldon Smith. I mean, Staley's just getting a little old. Nick Bosa's good too, but he was getting worked. I'm curious to see what Trent Williams does because I think Trent Williams going to hold his own. I think he's going to do real well.
That's the truest of iron, shaping iron, honestly. Like Trent's going to learn from Nick and Nick's going to learn from Trent because nobody's able to get defenders off of him with hands like Trent Williams is. Like he's able to move your hands off of him and still put himself in a spot where he's able to push you off and get somebody else.
And what Nick Bosa does so well is get inside, use his hands. So that was going to be a really fun matchup. Yeah. Hopefully I can post it in like slow motion online.
Awesome.
But you're only allowed to post it for 24 hours. So we got to get that stuff quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
They're afraid that there's no preseason this year. So they're saying personnel departments are going to be basing all their decisions on like Instagram videos. So we got to take them down after 24 hours. Sorry.
Strange here.
Bro.
Strange here.
Serious. So I get to post like when they you can post stuff on YouTube, but you have to take it down 24 hours later.
Wow.
You can only post 90 seconds a day.
That's
total. Crazy.
All right, bro. So Trent Williams is looking awesome. So we know Weston Richburg is not back, healthy, right? So this guy who took over for him, his name is Ben Garland. I think he did a damn good job, especially coming in against the Saints. That was a very tight game. He held up and he played his ass off. One of the big runs that we had, Ben Garland was out there running like he was a running back, right? I think he was very good. How did Ben Garland look like today?
I didn't zero in on Ben Garland, but in general, I agree with your take on it. Again, dude, like seeing who exactly was in the trenches from 2 fields away with people standing on the sideline is hard. But I agree with you. From watching him last year, I thought he was a borderline asset in the running game. As a pass protector, you could see why he was a backup, but the running game worked just fine with him. What do you think, Jason? What do you think of Ben Garland?
I think that what Dre said is absolutely true. Like, in the middle of that Saints game, it is very hard to come off of the bench. And this is a game that wasn't like, week one, like this game like was for all the marbles, right? So he did come in. And when we broke down Kendrick Bourne's film, we put down the two touchdowns that Kendrick had. And there was times where Ben Garland was getting 2 and 3 rushes his way, knocking one to the left and getting to another one and also stopping that. Now, obviously, if I was to nitpick, let me play devil's advocate. Let me play the other side. If I was to nitpick, he didn't have such a good Super Bowl. Like that. Like, but Chris Jones was bodying everybody. I'm not gonna give him all of the blame. Like, it's not, if a guy is dominating, it's not because you're bad. It's just because at that moment, he's just playing better than you at that time right there. So Garland was fine. I really enjoy the way that this offense ran the inside zone and the outside zone with Richburg in there, but Garland's fine. The good news is if Richburg's not up to speed, we're pretty well set, especially the first few weeks with how soft the 49ers schedule is, to be okay. Like, we don't really have any monsters in the middle that we're really going to be facing when it comes to the Giants, the Jets, the Cardinals, anything like that. So, with the Cardinals, you're just going to have to worry about Chandler Jones on the outside, and that's
not worried about him. If you watch the film with him and Trent Williams treats him like a rat dog.
No, hey, that's now. That's now. Yeah. But still, Chandler Jones is still, he's
great.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. He leads the NFL in sacks for I don't know how many years, the last couple of years, right? So great. But we got that ace. We got that ace, and we got that 8 ball.
I actually really, really, really like the depth on the offensive line this season. I do. I really do.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, bro. So let's move on. Let's
talk about these running backs, man.
All right,
so I'm waiting, Grant. I'm waiting. Go, Grant. Could somebody?
First of all, Mostert was the clear starter. Mostert was the clear starter today. He took every first rep with the first team, got 6 touches. It really looked like, at least today, the focus of the offense was getting him the ball, which was cool to say. Also, he looks bigger. I thought he looked like he was in great shape last year. He looks even more yoked this year. Dang. So he looks good. And then after him, I thought McKinnon looked good.
Let's go.
No brace. Cut well. Lined up in the slot on 3rd and 7 with the second team. Ran a slant over the middle and caught a ball that was slightly above his head. Hands up, in stride. I mean, he looked like a slot receiver.
Let's go.
So we had 3 touches. It's hard to judge a running back, really. You can see how fast they are, but you're not going to see if they're going to break tackles. But the catch was really nice. He looked – also, Jeff Wilson Jr. looked like he was in terrific shape. He looked faster than he used to be. He's really strong.
Even off the
maybe I'm biased, but Tevin Coleman, again, kind of the same. Kind of this – I mean, not bad, but just didn't pop like the other 3. And the one guy – the other guy who popped was Hasty to me.
I heard that as well, too.
What about
he had like 3 touches, and he, like everyone else, is a one-cut runner. This guy will make 2-3 cuts in the backfield real quick, and he's not wasting motion. He's just very fluid. It's fun to watch, and he's fast.
What about
I know that the defenders allow guys to finish runs. I'm sorry, Dre. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
He says, what about Savon Ahmed? He got 1 carry. hard to tell. Hard to tell.
All right, go ahead, Jason. My bad, bro.
No, so what with these practices, it's great to see these guys in action. But remember, these guys are not going to tackle them; they're letting them go. Exactly. But I read the same things about JaMychal Hasty and how well he looked. The point that the thing that I wanted to actually bring up to Grant is that me and Dre are kind of in agreement on this with Coleman, right? So with Coleman, Kyle Shanahan uses him like a jab in the first round of a boxing match. Right, like you're sizing the guy up. You just want to see where, and then you attack with Mostert.
Yeah, sure, love it.
So I get that part of it. So like while everybody's piling on Tico's the one who's in the middle of the tackles, getting those tough yards to show where Jet can move. And for sure, Jet is the best pass catching option on this team. He can actually run routes. If him being in the slot lets me know all I need to know right there, and that they're thinking about him the same way. Plus, guys, you have to remember, and I said this a million times, and I said it on your show, Dre. The first signing that this front office had was Jet McKinnon. Like they immediately they identified him as their guy. And that's it. There's a reason that they continue to restructure his contract to keep him around, even though he's never played a snap for the team. There's something that Kyle and Lynch, or it's more Kyle, it's something that Kyle wants to unlock with him that he's never had, and he's going to make that happen no matter what.
Well, it's the receiver in him because he has a quarterback who wants to throw the ball over the middle.
Right.
Doesn't really throw the ball outside the numbers that often. And if that's the case, then you need a great receiver at running back, a great receiver at tight end, and great slot receivers. And that's what they've gotten. They've gotten a bunch of slot receivers, a bunch of tight ends, and this guy's important. But what you said about Tevin Coleman.
You got to say Tico, Dre.
I see what you're saying, and that's exactly how Shanahan uses him. But what I would say is Jeff Wilson Jr. is just as good running between the tackles.
Hell no, man. We ain't going to do that, bro.
Just as good running between the tackles. And I think showed more upside as a receiver.
Last time I seen Jeff Wilson Jr. getting starts and getting a lot of reps, he was fumbling the damn ball. Jeff Wilson, no.
Look, the issue is that Kyle is loyal to his guys to almost a fault, right? Like Levine Toilolo was on this roster last year just to be a blocking tight end.
So true.
I couldn't believe it.
Right. Hey, but the thing about Levine Toilolo is you could tell how important his blocking was because he went to the Giants and he got $6 million for 1 year.
Yeah. Well, the Giants are dumb. That's different. Drake, that's different. The Giants are just dumb. They're just out here. Like they overpaid for James Bradbury and they overpaid for a bunch of guys. So just because the Giants want to throw money at you, I don't know if that's
a good thing or bad.
Right.
You would know, Dre. You got to defer to him on the Giants.
Hey,
I'm in Jersey. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You got to defer.
So they traded away. They traded away Odell Beckham for Olivier Vernon and like, bro. I
thought they had a crackhead as a general manager.
Gentlemen,
they traded him for 100.
They literally drafted Daniel Jones because he looks like Eli Manning. Like that's it. That's all they did.
He was coached by the same guy, Cutler.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. Yeah. He literally knew that he wanted him because he played one good quarter in the Senior Bowl, and he said he looks like a quarterback, and because he's from the Manning office.
Well, he's white. He looks like a quarterback to me, guys.
Yeah,
what do you think?
He's 6'5".
That complexion. He's the pigment, right? Shade.
Oh shoot!
Stupid, bro.
Hey, real quick. Okay, someone asked, like, was there any other fullbacks over there today?
The first completion of Mullins' day went to Josh Hockett. He looked like he was playing. I couldn't tell if he was playing fullback or tailback. He was 80 yards away from me, but he caught a pass. He looked fairly fluid, so he got involved with the second team right away. Yeah, one guy who really didn't. Him and Ahmed got 1 touch each. Hasty got 3, and he got 2, like almost back to like 2 in 3 plays toward the end. It seemed like Shanahan wanted to watch him too. Was having fun. Like, hey, give him one more.
Give him one more.
Hey, well, we about to do a film breakdown on Tico, so we can get some understanding, bro.
Well, I just want to show people, like, look, Grant gets it. For the fans that watch the film, they get it. Like Coleman has a role. Again, Kyle Shanahan is loyal to his guys. He trusts.
He's familiar with them.
Right. That's the thing. And like I said, he trusts Tevin Coleman to get those tough yards to show him where to attack with Mostert. Mostert's a one-cut guy. Put his foot in the ground and he's gone. And that's he doesn't learn that without Tevin Coleman showing him what the defense is trying to do.
I just saw Tevin Coleman in person today, and it's just He's just not impressive. He's not particularly big or fast or strong. And you look at McKinnon, like physically, McKinnon is like, wow. He's super strong for a little guy. And Mostert is super strong. And even Wilson, you could tell he's worked really hard this offseason. Coleman looks the same. And it's not bad, but he's just he's in a really good backfield, and I'm not sure that he's even the third best.
Coleman's not going anywhere though, because his money's guaranteed right now. So if they want to make a move on him next year, that's up to them. He's going to be a part of this roster. So it's like, you know, what are we going to do?
And they don't need cap space anymore because they got. I mean, they're not trying to extend anyone else.
They got everybody right.
Enough. Right, so yeah, let's talk about the tight ends. I want to know how Warner looked today. Charlie Warner.
He got no targets, nothing. The only tight ends who got targets were Kittle and Dwelly. Kittle got 2, Dwelly got 1. I'm telling you, right now it's a clear 1-2 on the depth chart. Kittle, Dwelly, and Warner and Jordan Reed has to come back. He didn't get to play today.
So you're telling me that you believe that Ross Dwelly is going to be over Jordan Reed and
No.
I don't think Reed played.
Jordan Reed isn't playing.
They're easing him in.
So Jordan Reed, I wasn't there when I read it. Jordan Reed was off on the side with Jalen Hurd. They're taking it slow with both of them for obvious reasons, and that's good. That's a great sign. Take your time, wrap them in bubble wrap. Make sure they're there for week 1. That's fine.
But Dwelly made a 2-yard catch, a 3-yard catch. That's Dwelly.
So
I love that.
I believe that Charlie Warner is going to take that Levine Toilolo spot of just primarily. Like you're not going to have to worry about him running out. If they want to be sneaky and show something on film where he's blocking on a certain formation and then leak him out, that's up to them. But if it's going to come down to Jordan Reed and Kittle on the field at the same time, it's going to be red zone targets. It's going to be close. And I feel like Jordan Reed's going to have a 20, 25, 30, 40 maybe snap limit, maybe. And that's a lot because then who are you taking off the field now for Jordan Reed? You know, so I feel like he's going to have a role, 20, 25 snaps probably inside the red zone when they need somebody big to go up and try to make a catch.
All right. Good stuff. So let's move on to wide receiver. Now let's talk about my boy KB. What KB looked like today?
He caught Jimmy Garoppolo's first pass of the day. He caught a couple of passes. He caught a nice pass on the sideline from Mullins. He looked good. Like, to me, the competition right now for a role in the offense is between him and Trent Taylor. Because, I don't know, they kind of both seem like number 3 receivers to me.
That's interesting.
And Trent Taylor was really good last year in training camp. But today I felt like, for whatever reason, his timing was off. Like, every time the target came to him, he got 5 targets. He was, like, diving or running back for the ball. He did make one diving catch with his left hand, which was really nice.
That's the one everybody's talking about.
Kendrick Bourne was just like in sync with the quarterback. And he was 3 for 3 with his targets. Yeah. Trent Taylor was 2 for 5. Bourne looked really good. Jennings looked good. Jennings got 1 target from Mullins. He caught it between like 3 guys, took a hit, held onto the ball and ran like what you saw him do at Tennessee. But the guy I was most impressed with was Brandon Ayuk. I thought he looked fantastic. Only got 2 targets, but caught both of them. First one was with the first team offense playing split it on the left. What I noticed at Arizona, he was almost always on the left. He's comfortable over there. He lined up against Mosley, beat him with a quick slant. Mosley was playing off, easy. And then a little bit later, he went up against Witherspoon, ran a deep comeback. So sold the go, came back to the sideline, made a really nice catch. And both times he looked like he was going like 80%. Real easy. Really athletic. I got
to get his rookie card, man.
Yeah, I remember AJ Jenkins. He was like trying so hard and falling down and slipping, and you can tell like he wasn't an NFL athlete. Ayuk is an NFL athlete. He was making it look kind of easy today. We'll see where he goes from here, but he was promising. The other guy, Dante Pettis, looked fine. He made 1 catch. It was a 4-yard catch on a curl. Fine. I think what's important with him is to not get in his head and not make him feel like he's a failure, because last year they kept giving him targets and he'd have drops, and it was almost like it was a snowball effect. Where he was like, oh my God, like I gotta catch this ball. Today he was like 1 target. You caught it. Okay, maybe tomorrow 2 targets. Just build him up slowly. Don't play with the backups. He was fine.
He's the wild card.
I have predicted Dante Pettis doesn't make this team this year.
I don't know. I see. I have a hard time with using the high pick that they used on Pettis and just casting him off after a year.
I said, bro, I think Dante Pettis doesn't make this team. That's just me personally. Like, give me Juwan Jennings, young legs.
Oh, I want him. Yeah,
give me Tavon Austin. I could depend on him.
Here's the thing about Tavon. I think they're playing this year. Practice squad is 16 players, and you could put one vet on it. I think they think they could put Tavon on the practice squad, and I think they thought they could put Travis Benjamin on it too before he opted out.
So
I think Tavon could be a weapon, bro. That's
sure, but I think they don't have to give him a roster spot. They can have him on the practice squad and call him up. Because I think this year you can call up 2 practice squad players every game, right? So you can have him. You can have him in play for you as a practice squad guy.
Grant's absolutely on, because these are literally verbatim the words that Kyle Shanahan used in his press conference. Literally he goes, first of all, listen, this is what I want you guys to get wrapped on. Like when you see these free agent signings, camp bodies mean more than what you think it means. What it means is, he said, ideally, you want to have 11 receivers in camp. He goes, right now we're at 10. He goes, it's not fair to the other guys to have so many other, you running every single play. You need to have guys in there who are going to at least alleviate some of that, right?
Think about how many sprints they do in a practice.
Exactly.
Dozens and dozens, miles there. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So Tavon Austin, his role for me is either one, that Richie James gadget, like whenever they want to dip in their bag, and they're like the Arizona game, when they were desperate for a play and they went down, they threw the comeback screen right back to Richie James, and it was a big play. I feel like Tavon Austin can fill that role. And if anybody right now, I would not want to risk Brandon Ayuk as a punt returner. I would rather have Tavon Austin back there trying to get punts. So again, what Grant said is true about the practice squad thing. Now the question comes in with this roster. Do you leave CJ Beathard on your practice squad? Because I think right now in this COVID 2020 world, 3 quarterbacks is going to be a must for almost anybody at this point. Because if one quarterback and you're down to 2, you are already behind the 8 ball at this point, because you don't know what's going to happen. And remember, if somebody gets COVID or if they get put on this list, they're not going to be gone for 2 weeks. They're gone for 21 at least. 21 at least.
They even signed another quarterback recently, right?
Right. So, like, at this point, with the way that 2020 is working right now, I have no issue with bringing in as many bodies as you can to fortify this roster on the back end for whatever is going to be thrown our way this 2020 season, for whatever it is.
And Beathard's the best number 3 they can get because he knows the system.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a complicated
He's not
system.
a good quarterback.
A new guy would be non-functional.
I'm not in on him as a quarterback, but I understand exactly why you're keeping him.
Yeah. All right, bro. I mean, I'd rather have Brock Rudder than CJ Beathard. That's just me. But all right. So
is Brock Rudder even on the team?
No, he got already.
No.
I'm just talking SHIT.
I feel you. I feel the same way.
Yeah. All right. So let's go on to quarterbacks. So when I was at the national park, like there's no service. You're in the sticks. So as soon as I got out the sticks, I got service, and I seen, the update that you posted on your channel. I kind of feel like the same bias that you have against Tico, you have it against Jimmy.
Maybe. I tried to like couch it by saying, like, look, like, he wasn't bad today. He was 6 of 8, and he is a good quarterback.
Right. Yeah.
I was looking for specific things, and he didn't take strides in those areas, and that's what I wanted to harp on. But I wasn't like being like, oh, he was a bum today. He wasn't any good. He's a great quarterback. I haven't changed my opinion on him because of one practice.
So let me tell you why I think you have a bias against both of those guys. Right?
Go for it, Trey. Let's go. I'm sorry.
I'm quiet.
I know that you're very good at doing the statistics as far as how much one guy takes up of the cap and how NFL teams have been very good in the Super Bowl with the quarterback or certain guys who don't have that much cap that they take up a percentage of that cap space, right? Tico making $5 million a year, you feel like he's not worth it. Also, Jimmy Garoppolo takes up more than the 13% that winning team.
No, he's 12.8. He's right at the cusp.
Oh, so he's not even over.
He's a little below. He's a little
right.
below.
So I feel like that kind of adds on to, some of the reason why you're a little bit more critical of Jimmy Garoppolo.
No question.
He's the franchise quarterback, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I also do feel like, bro, you go out of your way to say, oh, Nick Mullins is good. Like we've seen this guy.
He go out of the way.
You're right.
I'm glad
And I think it's partly because again, Nick Mullins is making $400,000, and it's so like inspirational to see a guy like make a career out of nothing and actually be pretty good. But yeah, I think it probably is a different grading scale for the two different guys.
Right. Yeah, and so that's the only thing, bro. I kind of like
that's a fair criticism. I agree, and I need to be cognizant of that.
I think. Go ahead, Dre. My bad. Go ahead. You got it.
Well, the thing is, bro. Why I appreciate you is because you stick to your guns.
Mm-hmm.
That's commendable. That's commendable. Like you stick to your guns, right? And
because I'm like Stephen A. Smith, I do my homework, and I really believe what I say. I'm also open-minded. Jason does his homework too, and you do your homework. If you guys have other viewpoints, I'm always open to listening, and I'll change my mind.
Yeah. I think because I read your article before we got on here, right?
Okay.
So I read it, and I think that the step that I'm looking for is the same thing that you're talking about, is the zip on the ball, right? So like when I think about that, the play that flashes into my mind is at times, guys, please don't kill me, guys. Listen, when you pop on the film, you'll see these things.
Yep.
Jimmy tries to jam balls into places that he's not supposed to, guys.
Well, it's one of the things we like most about him. It's why he's third down.
Right. Now,
yeah.
The one that sticks out in my mind, right, and it ended up being in his favor was that throw at the end of the Pittsburgh game where Dante Pettis comes back to the ball. It
was a bad read.
It's literally so thank you for saying that. You said it.
I throw that into cover 2.
Right. And he threw it right in between 3 guys. Dante Pettis at that point got some dog in him and moved up a little bit further to make sure he got that ball and bring it.
Now, best play of his career.
For sure. Hands down. If it's either that or it's when he stiff armed in Seattle. And that one too, though, where he bounded it. Yeah. But what I want to see Jimmy do is if you're gonna take those throws, we need a little bit more zip in there. Okay. If you're gonna throw in between 3 guys, I've seen him do it. They just had a little bit more space, but those windows close quickly. And you need to go a little bit harder in there.
When he was in New England, he had that zip. And his first 5 starts with the Niners, he had it. But last year, I felt he didn't. And he was still really good. Shanahan did a really good job working around that. But today, I just wanted to see, is it back? Because Kyle Juszczyk said he's not wearing a brace anymore.
But he was a brace.
But he was today.
Yes.
He was wearing a brace. And to me, that says it's still in the back of his mind. He still wants to protect it. Yep. And part of the way he protects it is by not planting hard and using more of his upper body to throw than the full lower body torque. Right. So to me, it was still floating the ball. Shanahan called 2 deep passes for him. The first one, Jimmy wouldn't throw. He just scrambled for 3 yards. Fine. The second one, he let it rip and overthrew Austin by 5 yards. Now, he wasn't open, but that's what he did. He only threw 8 passes. And I'm not surprised that he hasn't made strides since last year because there were no OTAs and minicamps. You actually need time on task to improve. Right. It's not only him either. It's him and his receivers. Right. So I was just looking for some strides. He hasn't made them. I guess it's not really fair to expect him to make them this soon anyway.
Right. And
he's still a good quarterback.
Remember, guys, look, this is the first day of camp, right? This is the craziest camp
first
ever.
day.
This is the craziest camp ever, right? No OTAs, no preseason games, nothing like that. Like a year ago, we were panicking because Jimmy threw a bunch of interceptions.
In training camp, everyone was making a big deal about that.
Kyle might have been.
I'm like, bro, I wasn't, but it is what it is. I mean,
it's never good when your franchise quarterback who's making $27 million a year does that, but he bounced back. He bounced back and had a great year.
Grant, is it really the money, Grant? Like, is that really why? Like,
I think he needs to. He's getting paid elite money and needs to get there.
Okay,
being good isn't good enough. He is good, but I think he's still 26 career starts. There's an expectation that he's going to improve, right?
Right.
So, Grant, I've heard whispers, right, from other people, right? Like, I'm not in the business of the breaking news thing because I watched. I just watched what you went through, and I was like, this is it. I'm done. Like, I'm never gonna try this. But I've heard whispers from guys that I really, really trust that I feel like that they feel like if an opportunity presents itself where Kyle can move off of Jimmy into a better situation, he may do it.
It's the worst kept secret in the league.
Thank you.
It's the worst kept secret in the league. But that doesn't mean that they'll ultimately move off him. I think it just means that Kyle Shanahan has very high standards, extremely high standards.
And he'll keep
until he gets John Elway in his prime, he's always going to be kind of looking.
and he'll keep looking. That's it. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not telling you guys that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be off this team, right? I'm telling you that Kyle Shanahan, if he finds somebody that he really, really believes can do better for this team than Jimmy Garoppolo, he will find a way to make this happen. And that's no slight at Jimmy. And that's not saying he hates Jimmy. I'm not saying he hates Jimmy. I'm just saying that Kyle Shanahan feels like he can do a little bit more at the quarterback position in his mind. In his mind.
I'm telling you, it's clear, man. There are so many people who will tell you that he feels that way. It's the worst kept secret in the league.
Without Jimmy Garoppolo, this team doesn't go to the Super Bowl last year.
No.
But I know that I'm pretty sure that Kyle Shanahan's a little sensitive about that. He understands what his record as a head coach is with and without Jimmy.
Right.
And I think he wants to prove that that's not a real thing, that he can win without Jimmy. Although I don't think it's going to get to that point anytime soon.
There's an argument to be made that Jimmy Garoppolo is the most valuable person on this offense, right?
Yes,
but, okay, you can make that argument for George Kittle. Yeah, exactly. You can make that argument for George Kittle, but exactly. Look, West Coast 5.7257. Kyle is 4-20 without Jimmy G.
And he knows it.
Boom.
And it burns him up.
Boom. All right, bro.
That was perfect.
Can we talk about Nick Mullins real quick, though?
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to see him play football. And he played today. And I got to say, he spent the offseason working out with Tom House, which is smart. And I thought his throws actually had a little bit more zip on him.
Can you tell who Tom House is for the people that don't know?
Sorry. Tom House is like Tom Brady's
quarterback whisperer.
He's the quarterback whisperer. He used to be a pitcher.
Yeah.
And he's all about what?
Tom House is. He's Brady's jockstrap guy.
But he does all. He like Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, Alex Smith. He's just very good on like optimizing your throwing motion so you get the most power possible.
You know what I was a little disappointed to hear today? So George Kittle had his press conference today, and all of them started with congrats, right? But then they asked him about the dynamic between him and Jimmy, and he said that they threw a little, but he was throwing with Beathard the whole offseason, he was saying. And I really wish that they would have been able to link up just a little bit more, because he said,
reminded me of something. Grant, you got to get at Kittle, bro.
I pressed the razor hand button.
What he did, bro. That was not cool.
It was not cool what he did.
It's not. Like so y'all believe anything y'all see on the internet. And less than 24 hours later, you got a damn deal signed.
I want to tell you, right? I want to say something, right? You said Friday, right? The deal was announced Friday.
I said Friday. Now, I made a rookie mistake of saying all the details that I heard. What experienced newsbreakers know is that those details can change at the last minute.
Right.
You don't need to give those details to have the scoop. And I felt like, I've never broken a story like this. I need to give the details for people to even take me seriously. That was a mistake. But I had the day. And the fact of the matter is 2 days before, Silver was saying, philosophical divide, minimal progress. Right. That was not true.
So look, this is what we talked about yesterday, Dre. Remember what I was telling you about? So Grant, this is this whole offseason situation with Kittle, right, is the strangest thing I've ever seen from any fan base when it comes to any free agent, right? I've never seen people campaigning, DMing. Like, the 49ers social team is so aware of this. They just put out a video with everybody sending them all the Pay George Kittle tweets in there, right? Like, they're so aware of this, right? I've never seen this when it comes to a player, right? This is a different type of player, right? So I think that what I was saying yesterday to Dre is that the reason that the reports sometimes get scoffed at, right? It's not because of who it came from. It's because there's guys. Mike Silver's an NFL Network guy. He couldn't have been more wrong, along with all this insider information that he's saying across that. I didn't believe a word he was saying. So it's hard to pick and choose who we're supposed to believe when it comes to these things, especially when it comes to a player that this fan base is like enamored with, right? Like, they would rather see a bunch of guys walk than George Kittle, even if that means that the team's not good anymore.
Well, I think Kittle's really mad at me. I'm telling you, I think he's mad at me.
But my whole thing,
I don't know why. I don't understand why he's mad at me. But it's my job.
Right. Like, I don't understand. And then I might get some dislikes on this video after saying this. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, right? I feel like you got to kind of look at George Kittle and be like, you got to kind of question it.
Now I do.
Yeah, like
his whole public persona is like, oh man, I'm such an easygoing guy, and I'm cool with everything, and I like everyone. But now you're seeing a different side of him.
It's like, bro, can I believe you every time that you say something now, Kittle. Like I just can't. I can't, bro. Like Grant broke a story. I mean, if I was him, I would have just retweeted it with eye emojis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what
I'm gonna play devil's advocate real quick. We talked about it. Well, with on Thursday. He didn't want to get his money messed up. That's why you change when money big bag is on the line.
But a report is not gonna mess up a contract, bro.
I think he wanted Pardon My Take to break the story. He's friends with Pardon My Take. He wanted to hand the scoop to his buddies because in this industry, a scoop like that is big. It'll change your career, man. That's why no one wants to give me credit. If I actually got this scoop, it would change my career. But everyone's like, nah, you didn't really get it, Grant. You didn't really get it.
The numbers off.
He nailed that. All you have to do is look on Kittle's bio. Viva la Stool. That's all you need to look. That's it. It's in there. It's in there.
He probably promised his buddies at Barstool, I'm going to hand you the scoop. And then I came in and they were like, dude, what happened? Did your agent tell Grant? And he's like, no, it wasn't me.
Hey, have you guys seen some of the Barstool videos that they had about Colin Kaepernick?
Yeah,
we're not here to discuss whether Barstool.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying,
and the fact that Kittle's real all in with Barstool also makes you wonder about him, right?
The character of those guys,
what's that about?
It's not cool. Like those guys they're not good people, bro.
No, absolutely,
because we'd be wasting time. Like basically, we have a guy who.
Most definitely.
That Colin Kaepernick thing is tip of the iceberg when it comes to the story.
Saying he looks like a terrorist, and I don't, bro. I'm not even going to repeat some of the stuff that they said. But anybody who wants to know about the character of Barstool and their top analyst and their owner, you go look.
It's Portnoy or whatever his name is. Because Big Cat's actually the talent, is the actual talent. But Portnoy is the guy that gets all the whatever. We don't have to talk. Look, let me say that Barstool's a trash organization.
That's why he's mad. He wanted to hand the scoop to his friends. I beat him to it because that's my job. I don't care about Barstool. So he's mad. So sorry. I think he's trying to act like I didn't have a source and I was guessing. Well, tough. Sorry. I was right. I was vindicated.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is, bro. I would have to say that I have a biased opinion too because of the friendship that I've formed with Grant, right? So right. So
you saw some people in the media were taking shots, like they were as soon as those numbers came out, they were like, "Oh,
right." Especially Biederman.
We gotta say his name. We don't need to.
That was not like that wasn't cool. I thought that guy was a cool guy, and it's just like,
what's that about?
I don't know, bro.
I mean, he would never say that to my face. I've been working with him for 8 years. He always
was there anybody? Were you with other beat writers today?
Yeah, they all said hello. I mean, no one, dude. It's the fakest industry, dude.
That's crazy.
Hey, how's it going? Great.
Super keep it real over here. Niners all day, baby.
Wait a minute. So I think I heard what you were saying or whatever, but I thought I saw somebody saying something directly indirectly, but you clearly
he did. He didn't say
he wanted to take credit for not breaking the story. He's like, oh man, the way I do my job, like, dude, you've never broken a story in your entire life. Exactly. Stop acting like you're all about accuracy. You have no sources. So that's your accuracy. Sorry, I don't want to get
Yeah.
I really don't care.
Yeah. Who real quick, who stood out for you today in training camp?
Who stood out for me today?
Yes, who impressed you the most? Day one.
There's like different stages of impressive. The ground floor I'm looking for is the next Ross Dwelly. The guy who's an undrafted guy that I didn't think of anything. But you see him, you're like, hey, this guy's the diamond in the rough. And after one day, I love the way that guy moves. Now, maybe he's too small and he won't be able to like break a tackle in a real game, but he's quick. I like him. In terms of like younger guys taking a step forward, I was really impressed just by Mullen's arm strength. And then, of course, Fred Warner, he looks like he's going to be he looks like Kittle looked last year. Every year, Kittle got bigger. And by last year, he looked like a transformer. Like that's kind of what Warner looks like
straight
right
up. Yeah, I believe it.
And then Ayuk. I mean, just the way how quickly with wide receivers in a practice, you either get open or you don't. Like
Right.
with AJ Jenkins, it was real clear. Like he can't beat anyone on this team. He cannot beat man coverage. It's not going to happen.
Stop saying his name, Grant.
I'm sorry. That guy.
Do you think Mosley was he slapped?
17. My bad.
Right, 17.
Yeah.
Was cursed. That's Jennings now, but Jennings is tough.
So was Mosley taking it easy real quick on Ayuk?
He was just playing off, and Ayuk took advantage.
Okay. No, I'm glad that you brought up Jennings, because I think what I want everybody to remember about him, like when I did my breakdown of him and I started watching his college film, is that just remember that he only fell to the 6th round because of character concerns. Speak to anybody from Tennessee or speak to anybody who watches Tennessee, and they're saying that we walked away with the steal of this draft. Now, that makes me feel good, but you have to remember, last year in the 6th round, the 49ers drafted Caden Smith, and then he was gone. And then once you saw Caden Smith eventually get his role with the Giants, he played very well.
Jason, I watched his catches. It seemed like he got schemed open and was like,
yeah, of course. No, he did. Yeah. But it would have been the same sort of thing with Kyle. Kyle would have got him open the same way. Evan Ingram is a much more dynamic receiver, clearly, and he's a guy that can get himself open. Yeah. But Caden Smith showed enough that when I watched it again, every time I watched him play, I was like, man, I really wish the 49ers would have stuck with him just a little bit longer. I think that they tried to play the game of let him clear waivers and we'll throw him on the practice squad, and someone else jumped in on it.
In the Giants, yeah.
All right. So let's switch gears. We've talked about a lot of the players. Let's talk about the energy of the coaches today. What was the energy from Chris Kocurek like today?
Oh, it's the same, dude. He never is less than like an 11 out of 10, which is cool because I feel like with his whole thing on the defensive line is get off. Because if he's I hate saying that phrase. It's nasty. But with the wide 9, the whole thing is like your pass rush. And if you have like 2 of your defensive linemen like a beat slow getting off the snap, then what's the point? So his whole thing is just screaming at defensive linemen and getting them practiced at watching the ball and reacting as quickly as possible. So he's the same. He's good at that. Right. It's not going to help Solomon Thomas, but he's good at that. I slid that one in there.
Yeah, I know.
That was slick. That was real slick. D Ford, because I've been, every day after work, I try to get home and I try to take notes from the interviews, you know what I mean, and see what guys said. And D Ford, I don't care what nobody says. He is top 5 when he talk about get off on the ball, on edge rush.
Get off. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah, I know.
He started today with Armstead all out with a back injury. We could talk about that in a minute too. D Ford started today, and I gotta say, I thought last year he looked a little overweight, just a little bit.
Yeah,
I thought he looked like he was in better shape this year.
Good stuff.
He looked trimmer,
and he said
he was like bulking up to start or whatever that was, but he looked like he was 10 pounds too heavy last year, and now he looks trimmer, more like an outside linebacker.
Right, and the by you saying that about Kocurek, that's what D4 said he's focused on is, they asked him what could he get better at, and Kocurek wants us to get better at, let's just say GO. We don't got to say the word because it sounds a little weird, but let's just say get better on the GO. And I was thinking like, damn, bro, you're already pretty good on your GO, but if you can get better, hey, I'm all the way with it.
Well, one thing I saw with Ford is that in Kansas City, part of his GO was the crowd noise. Like that really supercharged it. Because if you think about it from an offensive tackle's perspective, it's hard to react to the snap because you can't hear it. Yeah. So you either have to look at it, in which case you see it and then you turn to find the edge rusher. Now you're a beat late, or you're reacting to the edge rusher and not hearing it and you're a beat late. So those pass rushers in Kansas City, Seattle often are a little bit supercharged because of the crowd noise. That's what I think. What do you think, Jason?
So, I mean, here's the thing, right? There's look, if people want to do plain numbers, it's clear night and day. The amount of pressure and the way that the pass defense performed, right, with D Ford on the field, like I think we can all say, like, there's no question about that. I really think that the question starts to come into, and this is the question that I've seen drawn up a lot, is whether his amount of money is worth it going forward, right? Like I hear a lot of people saying, hey, he can be cut, we can extend this guy, things like that. I think it comes down to a point of just health. Like, for a guy to play 25, 30% of snaps, it's kind of tough for you to justify the amount of money, especially considering how many games he's missed. Now, if D Ford comes out this year and he plays 50% of the snaps, 45% of the snaps, and he doesn't miss many games, and he's a force, then I am all on board on keeping that because I am, and Grant, you can disagree with me if you want here. I'm on board with pass rush over coverage. It clears that it's clear that the Seahawks feel the other way about the way that they're constructing their roster, but pass rush clearly can cover up issues like even the 2012 49ers, right? Amazing defense, right? You couldn't even tell me that secondary was amazing. No. Carlos Rogers was someone who was on Washington and was a reclamation project, and they got him to work well for the team. Tremaine Brock was just a guy who was there. Like pass rush can slow down all those other guys' shortcomings, and I think
let's debate it real quick. And I agree, you're right. A pass rush does make a mediocre secondary better, but a great secondary does make a mediocre pass rush better. I think it's kind of a yin and yang thing. So I think it's hard to win the debate one way or another. But I think the reason I would go towards the secondary is financial. Yeah, the DBs are cheaper,
right?
So it's cheaper to build a great secondary than a great D line.
Right. Pay Nick Bosa, right? That's the next one. Pay Fred Warner.
Hard.
And whatever Joey Bosa got, Nick Bosa should ask for the moon compared to that at this point because he wasn't as.
Nick Bosa's going to get 30 plus.
Yes.
It's going to be all peaches and cream until Adams hold out for that new contract. But we ain't going to talk about that.
No, that's their business. But I think the other thing is, too, it's like it's like to Grant's point, like, yes, and a much better secondary can cover up the flaws of a bad pass rush, just as long as that pass rush isn't being led by Cassius Marsh.
Oh, of course. Look at the Seahawks in 2012. They brought in Michael Bennett and Cliff Averill. Like, Cliff Averill wasn't the greatest player on the Lions. And Bennett was pretty good in Tampa or wherever he came from, but he bounced around a little bit. But you put them behind that secondary, then all of a sudden they're good enough, and they're great on that team. So I feel like both can kind of have that effect. But the reason that like people like Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick put more of their assets and money into the secondary is it's just cheaper. Yeah. It's more affordable to keep it long term. Like Belichick, the only player he really pays is Devin McCourty. Yep. That's his guy. Keeps him long term. But he doesn't have to pay Devin McCourty $20 million a year.
Right. Nah, Gilmore, Stephon Gilmore,
the number one cover corner in the league, hands down.
True. But Gilmore's been on that team 4 years. McCourty's been there for like 12.
Right.
McCourty's been there. He's like been the linchpin of that. He's their Earl Thomas.
Right.
It's true. And then you have to remember too, Gilmore was on the Bills before. Gilmore was fine. He just wasn't he's just not now he's the top of the top right now.
Yeah.
West Coast said Cliff Averill was pretty damn good though. He was.
He was.
So let's talk about well, first I just want to say D Ford did prove he was worth that money because our defense had 38 sacks with him, and without him, it we didn't even have half of the sacks that. Well, we did have half. It was 30. It was 38 with him, and I think it was like 20 without him. They
need a speed rusher, but I don't think they need to spend $17 million a year on it.
Yeah. Well,
did you see Deion Jordan
today? Yeah, he didn't do anything. I saw him on the field. He wears 96. He was there. I definitely saw him, but he didn't make a play. But again, you can't really assess a D lineman or an offensive lineman until the pads go on Monday. Right. This was kind of like flag football today.
Right.
I think you guys, the beat writers, you guys are behind the eight ball here with this whole crazy season. Like that's about to happen. It's like if you even say anything good about somebody just because of a practice, because that's all you're going to get, and they don't play well, you're going to get backlash. If you say that you didn't see anything from somebody and they play well, then why didn't you report it? I can't imagine watching this on the field and being able to try to watch it like and understanding what's really going to happen or who's going to make an impact on this team.
And imagine what a bad viewpoint you get.
Right, exactly. And you guys used to be really close. Like you guys like remember COVID, but now we're talking about like also like again, this is the reason that I'm so bullish on this team, right? Continuity, right? Because this team has many of its pieces coming right back and joining right in, right? But it's hard to gauge all these other guys. So when you say that you saw Brandon Ayuk standing out, that means a lot. That means a lot.
Yep. Right. I believe so too, because this is my 10th training camp. I've seen a lot of young wide receivers come and go, and not all young wide receivers can do what he did today. It's a big deal. A lot of young wide receivers just get smoked repeatedly. And it's like they've never played the position. They just can't get open. He can get open.
Right.
So
all right.
The thing with Pettis, he could get open, but I could tell early on, even in unpadded practices, he did not want to go over the middle.
He's not
if he was going over the middle, he would
That's my issue with Pettis. He doesn't have that dog in him.
He doesn't.
Like if you want him to run on the perimeter, he's a great route runner. He just runs them a little bit more funky than normal guys do, right? Like he's a lot of like arms and legs when I watch him like running. Like he's like herky jerky. The reason that he connects so well with Nick Mullins is because remember who was throwing in passes and was able to build that connection with him. And then when it got to Jimmy, I think it's a little bit of what Grant said about last training camp. Forced the issue with Pettis, and it wound up backfiring and knocking his confidence down.
You don't trust dude.
Yes. So this year they're not going to do that.
So what's up with Armstead? Where did that come from?
Let's talk about that.
Good.
Because look, they say, it's no big deal. It's just precautionary. He's a big guy. Sure, we're going to keep him out for the next 3 practices too, but he'll be back. That's 33% of training camp. And this is the Armstead I remember. The guy who misses training camp or most of it. The guy who flashes but doesn't play the whole season. The guy who you can't fully count on. And that's why I've been so not upset, but like amazed that they let Buckner go, because Buckner isn't going to have these issues. Buckner you don't have to worry about.
I don't
He's
give
healthy,
a damn.
he's available, he works.
I'm not paying Buckner no $22 million. Sorry, he's not. He's not.
So
that
with Armstead, you're paying him 17, and now you got to work. Like, is he gonna revert?
So what exactly is the back thing? Did he just tweak it? Like,
we'll see, man.
See, they're not going to tell us anything. They're not
going to tell us.
That's the thing. They're not saying anything, and they're saying that it's nothing to worry about. Look, okay, I just told you guys to preach patience with all these things, so I'm going to stick to that, and I'm going to say let's preach patience on this Armstead thing.
Yeah.
But what Grant said was really interesting, honestly, is it's only the first day, but I don't want to put this in anybody's mind. But I hope that last year was not the outlier. Because remember,
because we've seen players do that. I mean, how many players have you seen with that good contract year, and then they revert to being the inconsistent dude that they always were?
Right. Now, here's the other thing, and I think it's what Trey said that is really like locking me in here. He's always going to be tied to we kept you instead of Buckner. So no matter what sort of production he gives, it may not be enough in the eyes of people that will. Trey, you're dead on.
I don't care about Buckner, right? When I found out that they offered him $18 million and he turned it down, like, I don't like you. Like, I don't care.
Fair enough. He may not be worth $21 million a year, but it's also true that Armstead may not be worth $17 million a year. That's the thing.
Armstead $17 million, somebody who wanted to stay here, somebody who said, I wanted to be a 49er. That's it. I wanted to be
not on the field, that $17 million is going to hurt. If he's not on the field, he needs to be out there, and he's missed games.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna be fine. I'm just trying to play like again. The best part about like trying to work through these arguments is trying to see both sides, right?
Yeah,
like, that's it. Like you have to, if you want to like really come to a conclusion, you need to evaluate both sides of this argument.
No doubt.
So
the reason that I was not alarmed, but it stood out to me is that it's day one. He hasn't practiced.
Right.
I know he's been working out and stuff, but it's
that's
day
why I'm
one.
kind of like
he should be ready.
I'm kind of like, whatever, but I just these are the expectations that are going to be on him because he's tied to we're keeping you instead of Buckner in the eyes of this fan base, and I don't think that that's fair for him to try to live up to the production because Buckner was great when he was here. I'm in the camp of like I loved him when he was here, like I did.
He's not Buckner, but he's a 27-year-old, $17 million per year elite quote unquote defensive lineman who's now stepping into a leadership position. He should be healthy on day one of camp.
Yeah,
he should know his body well enough to be ready on day one. Because Buckner was. Bosa was. Thomas was. What is going on? I mean, he was the only guy on the team who couldn't get it together for day one, except for guys who had broken bones and stuff. Nothing against Eric Armstead, but it's like, dude, this is the kind of stuff that you need to do if you're going to replace Buckner, because you are. You are. Right. You're now a leader.
Yeah. Yeah, well, hey, I've been in the gym and tweaked my back and was fine and woke up the next day and couldn't even bend over to tie my shoe because if I did, I'd be stuck there, right? So it happens, Let's just hope for the best.
Look, the best part about all this is that we're able to speak about these things because camp is finally here.
Yeah,
right.
Here.
Thank God.
Yeah,
so nice to watch that stuff today, even if it was a mile and a half away.
Right. All right, bro. So I think we covered like everything, right?
I think we
covered everything. And this is the last question. I just want to know, how did it feel going to Levi, seeing the guys, being there amongst the team and the franchise. Like, how did it feel today? Like, what was the energy like, bro? Just being there.
It was surreal. It was surreal to be back among those players and my colleagues, all the coaches. It almost felt like I was never going to see them again. It almost felt like we were back to normal for a minute until I remembered that I was wearing a mask and I couldn't move around. But for moments, it felt like I forgot all about COVID-19, which is, I guess, why we want sports so much, because it helps us forget how crazy the rest of the world is. So I wish you guys could have been there too. You would have really, really enjoyed it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I've just been taking the reports that I've been getting. A lot of the info that I got was just from watching all the press conferences after. They had Kyle, they had Kittle, they had Lynch. You know, it was a good chance to finally, like, to hear Kittle speak about this whole situation and to hear everybody speak about it. It kind of shed a little bit more light on it and everything. But it's just good to understand that, you know, if all goes well, all things, you know, happen. You know, we'll actually have the start of the season. And I actually wanted to ask you, Grant, like, if you could tell, like, I know that it's really far away, you know, and you really can't tell, but does this team feel like they really, really, like, are ready to go right back to where they were in that fourth quarter and just ready to finish the job this time? Like, is that something that they all believe?
I think they believe it. I think they have an unreal self-belief. They really do think that they were the best team in the league last year, that they blew it.
Belief?
They were.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, in a good way. Like, they're the most.
I was like,
it's a good thing. Like, they're the most confident team, one of the most confident teams in the league, and they deserve it. They really believe they should have won the Super Bowl last year, and they're still the best team in the league. And as long as they have Kyle Shanahan, Richard Sherman, Fred Warner, Nick Bosa, George Kittle, Robert Saleh, they're going to have that same confidence and mindset. And not just that, the focus. I mean, Richard Sherman is not going to let the team all of a sudden get away from themselves and act immature. Like, he's a very good uncle on the team. He's a very good babysitter. So that's not the issue. Is, are they the best team in the league? I'm not picking them to win the Super Bowl. I'm not even picking them to win the NFC West.
Wow.
I think they're going to win 12 games, but I think the Seahawks are going to win 12 games too. I think those teams are neck and neck. And I think the team that is going to win the Super Bowl is going to come from the AFC. I think it's going to be Kansas City or Baltimore.
Grant,
what do you think?
Grant, no, look, Grant. I mean, hey, look, I get the argument. I just have, like, so my thing, again, I just told you I'm pass rush over secondary. So, he dipped. Did he cut out, Trey?
No, I don't know what happened.
Oh.
What's up with that? Oh, here.
All right, there we go. All right. No, so I just told you that I'm pass rush over secondary, right? But, you know, like, you're kind of compelling me with the argument of the secondary and everything as well, too. It's just that I have a tough time after watching last year, the guys that were trying to cover our guys. Now, the only thing is that I was really betting on Quentin Dunbar not being there next year. Now,
so he's going to be there.
I don't understand how he's going to be there. And he's going to be there with no suspension. Like, where's the suspension? Like, where, like, I don't understand.
No, I don't care what nobody says. You were involved in an armed robbery.
And why does it all have to be DeAndre Baker? It's either,
I don't know.
It's either you gave information or you paid the right person. I'm sorry. Let me.
And he paid.
I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is Dunbar's on that team and he's good.
So you're talking about Dunbar. See, because I was basing it on Trey Flowers and Shaquille Griffin, and I was like, I'm good. Yeah. No. Yeah. Now it's Dunbar. Now it's Jamal Adams, and Shaquille Griffin will be on the other side. Yeah. And Kondre Diggs that secondary is legit, probably one of the top two. And I understand that completely. What scares me about Seattle?
Shaquille Griffin. Debo Samuels abused him like
he baked Shaquille Griffin. Look, he baked Shaquille Griffin. He baked Trey Flowers. I'm not talking about that, and he's gonna get his spots. He really he in week 17 he ran routes where he spun them around. Like I enjoy watching that film. That was Debo's best game as a 49er. Right there, that game. Not only because everybody's gonna remember the reverse, but watching him bake these receivers, he had a touchdown walk-in. He just fell, right? And he fumbled the ball on he was playing that well that game that even those mistakes don't overlap what he did to them. But I'm just talking about right now, that secondary with those safeties and everything. Shaquille Griffin's the guy that I would attack. I wouldn't go at Diggs, and I'm probably not going to go at those other guys up there.
Hey, Jason, what are they going to do with our run game, bro?
Nothing. They can't stop the run.
And what are they?
Jamal Adams is gonna have to float. Jamal Adams is gonna have to float like Cam Chancellor did, and he's just gonna have to do what the Jets just asked him to do: cover Kittle, play the middle, and get back on obvious passing down.
This is what I know. Their middle linebacker gave up the most yards to a tight end in the NFL last year, which is 894 yards, right? And that was when we played. That was hey, look, what are you gonna do with 21 personnel and Jordan Reed and Kittle? What are you gonna do with the running game? Jamal Adams is good, but can he handle Kittle blocking him? Danielle Hunter and Everson Griffin couldn't handle Kittle blocking him. I'm sorry. I just don't. This is the thing. I don't think that Seattle is as good as everybody makes them out to be, bro. They still haven't addressed the offensive line. They still haven't addressed the defensive line. They got some good receivers. The running backs are iffy. They just got Carlos Hyde. Chris
People
Carson
always make this with Seattle. Seattle is better than the sum of their parts every year.
Oh my gosh!
If you look at their roster, they always have.
Bro, they won 9 games. They won 9 games by 3 points or less. Is that a really good team?
You know why?
That's not a really good team.
Why, Jason?
Russell Wilson?
That's right. This is what they do.
In timely
They're
flash.
the most consistently good team in the NFC for the past decade. They don't have losing seasons. They're always in games late, and they usually win those close games because they have a top 2 quarterback in the league.
Top 1.
And this defense that they're going to have next year is going to be the best defense they've had since Cam Chancellor retired.
That's true.
It's going to be finally a defense that's not only good, but also vicious and will hurt you. And that's what they're supposed to be.
He's not wrong about that, but that doesn't make them like elite. That just means that that's how bad the defense has been in the middle, in between. You know, like Russell Wilson does more with less than anybody, and that's why I say he's the best and the most valuable player in the league.
And for what it's worth, the 2 games that the Niners played against the Seahawks last year went down to the wire. And both teams were missing players both times, but that's football. Well, for whatever reason, these teams play each other very close. And when the Niners, I feel like maybe they didn't take a step back. They lost some key players. I feel like they're right about the same as spot they were last year. The Seahawks made some serious moves. Adams adding an all-pro player is a big deal. So I think that might tip the scales, but we'll see. We'll see.
Nah, I'm watching week 17 after this. I don't want to even get scared now. No.
And what you say is they have no pass rush. It's
no,
true.
they don't.
I think they're going to resign.
Sweeping the Seahawks.
I think they're going to get.
You think the Clowney deal is going to get done? Because I was just about to ask you about that.
We sweeping the Seahawks. We're sweeping the Seahawks.
I love Dre. I love Dre's passion, man. I love it.
I love it too. Sometimes you just got to say what it is.
No, you know what it is? It's like sometimes we overthink these things and we're like, oh, what do we see on film? And sometimes it's right there in front of you.
Hey, you know, it's just like when I hear Grant prove his points, I'm like, damn, he right.
Okay. No, he's doing that with me too. I have to say,
it makes me mad. It's like, oh my God.
Right. You know what's crazy, Grant, is like you step on Twitter and you see what people say about somebody and you start to like form some sort of like whatever opinion, but you're not like you're cool, man. Like I just follow you on Twitter, man.
Russell, I get it, bro.
I have a Twitter persona.
You do, and I'm glad you said that. You do.
I have a Twitter persona, but I feel like you're not supposed to have a persona on Twitter.
But I like how you lean into that, though. Like I like how you lean into that, though. I think that's what it is. It's like you don't halfway it. Like you're like polarizing is the word. That's it. Like I feel like.
And my dad's from Brooklyn, so that's how he taught me you have to be. Like you got to be that. So
I tried to tell people, bro, if you get to know Grant and you know
that's it. I follow Grant. I'm in, man. Grant, this
was awesome. I'm gonna follow you too.
That's awesome. I had a blast doing this, honestly, man. Like to be able to speak, with you, like I said, Dre. Anytime that I'm on here, to be able to speak with you, somebody who was actually at camp, this is a blast. This is more fun than anything, man. Like I do this for free, and I love it, man. This is just fucking amazing. Sorry.
Hey, good look getting Jason on the show. This dude knows his stuff. Really, it was good. I keep pointing the wrong direction, Jason.
Now I'm up here. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate that, Grant.
Yeah, man. I just thought it would be a good cohesion, you know what I'm saying, and to have another good voice who knows his stuff, man. I'm
doing a good job building the show, man. Bringing more people.
I'm just trying. I feel like if we all leaned on each other, and to be able to talk about the 49ers, bro, that's the content will get much better, right?
I think that the best advice I would give anybody in all of this is just always put your best foot forward, because you never know like who you're like burning a bridge with and things like that. Like just because of something that doesn't make any, like this person, you don't even know this person, that sort of thing. Like I think what I've learned is everything's best foot forward. Everything should just be to just like we're just talking shop, man. Like I just want to talk ball. That's it. Like that's like it's not nothing complicated. So it's like it shouldn't be harder than that.
Right. And this was a really good show. I'm sure people enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. We were talking for like 90 minutes.
For
I
sure.
do gotta go, but this was great.
I appreciate you, Grant, bro. I'll definitely be in touch.
You gonna send me the video?
Yeah, I'm gonna download it right now. I got you.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
I got you, bro. All right,
the subs get? You got to 800 yet?
We're at 855 before the show.
That's it. You close to monetizing.
Close. We need 145 more.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, Dre.
All right, bro. I appreciate
I'm gonna go follow you right now.
Yeah, Grant. Nice to meet you, man. It's been a pleasure, man. And we'll talk, man.
All right, man. Next Saturday.
All right. Yep. Next Saturday.
All right, man. Cool. All right. Peace.
Hey, yeah, bro. I mean, that's a perfect example of what I try to tell people about Grant. Like, you see all of the stuff that people say about him. It's like, bro, like you're really off base about this.
Yeah,
dude.
you know, I think that like he said, and I think that was the best thing that he could have said, because I'm glad that he's aware of it, is that the persona that he is on Twitter is that type to rile people up, right? And that's what I was telling you about, like why I would never be in the business of breaking news, is because of the backlash that you get, but he's ready for it. Like he understands that. Like he's not blindsided by like, oh, why are they, like he understands that. And as long as he leans into it and he knows what he's getting himself into,
most definitely.
That's it.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, bro. Like I said, bro, this was a damn good show.
For sure, man. I'm happy that you brought me on. And like I said, anytime, man, I got you, Dre.
You're
the first person. You're the first person to let me come on their podcast and talk ball, man. And
I think at this point, bro, like I really want you to be on a lot more, because the coaching works really good.
Let's do it. I got nothing but time, man. Got nothing but time now. I've been watching it. Like I said, I'm still stuck on 2019's film, and 2020 is about to start very, very soon.
Yeah. All right, bro. Well, I'm gonna contact you. And whenever we schedule a show, bro, I'll just hit you, and you know what I'm saying, we'll go in, bro. I'll just let you know what time we going on, what subjects we talking about, and then like I said, I want to break down some Tico and some Quan film.
Just let me prep. Like I said, give me a little bit of time, and you know I'm gonna make it work.
All right, bro. I got you.
All right, bro.
All right. Peace out.
Later.
Yeah, man. With that being said, man, we appreciate everybody who rocked out today. Today was a really good show, bro. Like I didn't think that it was going to be like, I knew it was going to be a good show, because it's always good to have a first-hand account of what happened, right? Like somebody who's actually there, right? But I didn't think it was going to be this good, bro. Like, you know, with that being said, man, we appreciate everybody, all of the Patreon supporters. We're going to have a gold member show pretty soon. Our gold members are the people that we are going to invite on. And you know what? I think that we're going to invite everybody on who's subscribed to our Patreon right now. We really appreciate you guys. It helped us get another mic. I have my green screen. I just haven't been setting it up. It takes a long time to set that stuff up. But man, like we really appreciate everybody. If you're, you know, just tuning in, please subscribe, right? Because as soon as we get to 1,000, man, it's going to be a lot better. I think we're going to have Middlecoff coming on. And there's another person I think that we're going to have coming on, but I don't want to say his name because we don't have the particular time. But it's going to be pretty big, man. Guy and Haberman, there's pretty big guys. So with that being said, man, we appreciate you guys here at Niners All Day. We love and appreciate you guys, man. Thank you for rocking out with us, and we're gonna let KB send us out. So let me go ahead and bring KB in real quick.
Kendrick Bourne from the San Francisco 49ers. You're watching the Niners All Day show. What up, Bronze? What up, Dre? Let's get it, man. Yee!
With that being said, man, we out. Love y'all. Peace out.